Hey, this is Frank from the Brain Garage, and I've developed a really cool method for using mindfulness as a skill in daily life. Now, if you are familiar with the concept of mindfulness, it involves typically sitting quietly and observing your thoughts and emotions and allowing them to just be. And this is a very rewarding practice. You quickly become very calm, especially as you accept your emotions. And one of the great cumulative benefits of mindfulness is that it frees up a lot of the resources that you already have in your mind in order to become a more effective person in daily life. Now, I like mindfulness meditation, and I've used it, and I will continue to use it. What also occurred to me was that the act of observing is a cognitive act. That is, I am directing my attention to my own thoughts. Therefore, this meditation practice is not as typically passive as other methods. And then it occurred to me that I could use that act of cognition as a means to approach and deal with specific situations in life. Now, let me just demonstrate the process that I've developed. It's 8 parts, and it begins, of course, with the act of observing. So, I'm smiling because this is funny. I have some mild anxiety when it comes to making videos and public speaking and recording audio MP3s, even when I'm alone in my office. Now, clearly, because this is something that I want to continue doing and do more of, it would be helpful for me to reduce this feeling of anxiety. And I can do that with this 8-fold mindfulness process that is really more skill than meditation. So here we go. I am observing myself experiencing anxiety making a video. And this anxiety for me is nervousness, wondering if it's going to be good enough, and I continue to observe myself feeling this anxiety making a video. And the first guidepost in the method is to find this emotion to be curious. As in, it's curious that I would feel anxiety doing something that I am choosing to do. And I continue to observe myself feeling anxiety and finding it slightly curious. And I continue to observe myself experiencing some anxiety, making a video, and I can find it slightly humorous. This is the second guidepost. Not laughing at myself humorous, but sort of human follies kind of humorous. As in, I would like to make videos, and yet I get nervous about making them. And that is kind of funny. And if you experience anxiety, you may have a similar situation. It's humorous that you would experience anxiety doing something that you are choosing to do. And I continue to observe myself experiencing anxiety, making a video, and I come to the third guidepost, which is self-acceptance. As in, I accept myself as someone who occasionally has anxiety while making a video. And I can accept this feeling of anxiety even as I continue to record a video. And this brings me to the fourth guidepost, a lessening of the intensity of the emotion. As in, I continue to observe myself making a video, feeling some anxiety, and as I have found it curious and slightly humorous, and accepted this feeling, I am clearly experiencing a diminishing of the feeling of anxiety. And as I continue to observe myself, I can observe that I am beginning to take more deep and even breaths, even as I continue to experience a slightly diminished experience of anxiety. Which brings me to the fifth guidepost, compassion for myself, as in, I love myself as somebody who experiences some mild anxiety while making a video. And I understand compassion as a higher level of self-acceptance wrapped in love. And so I can love myself even while feeling a somewhat unsettling or uncomfortable emotion. Which brings me to the sixth guidepost. As I continue to observe myself, having some mild and diminishing anxiety while making a video, I may flash on some understanding as to why I might experience this tension. Since I've performed this exercise for this topic several times, I know that I've performed in public and not always gotten it right or perfect. And so this memory or these memories may be influencing me to have some anxiety. I'm not really sure. But at the very least, I can understand that it is perfectly natural for people to have anxiety while performing. Which brings me to the seventh guidepost in this method, in that I'm able to move forward. So even as I continue to observe myself experiencing some mild discomfort, making a video, I've come to accept it, and I have compassion for myself, and I'm able to move forward. That is, I'm able to keep making the video without stopping the process and redoing it 20 times, and many of you know what I'm talking about, and just to accept the outcome and the feeling and the minor flubs that feel bigger on the inside than they actually appear in the video. And this is so important, this process, or this step in the process, because as I'm able to move forward, while still experiencing some tension, this adds to my overall capability in this particular question I have for myself, which is making videos. And I'm continuing to breathe deeply and observe myself making the video, feeling the discomfort really subside as I've gone through the 7 steps. Which brings me to the 8th guidepost in the process of mindfulness as a skill, and that is the understanding that emotions are arbitrary. They are learned responses, and I could just as easily have learned to associate excitement with making videos, and indeed, that is my long-term goal. So I will continue to practice mindfulness as a skill in daily life, because the 8th guidepost shows me that eventually, as I become better at this skill, I can choose the emotions I wish to experience before, during, and after any interactions I have either with myself creatively or with the world. And that, I'm not doing the process anymore. And that last part is probably the strongest thing. It's kind of the summing up of the process, that as you continue to practice mindfulness, you will come to understand that emotions are learned behaviors. And of course, you want to work through them, which is why I like this process. But ultimately, as you really get a grip on the idea that you can choose your emotions at will, you will more and more choose more empowering emotions in your daily life. Now, keep watching the channel, because I've already performed about 5 or 6 of these exercises for different topics. That is, I've taken the 8 guideposts of mindfulness as a skill and applied it to procrastination, self-confidence, social anxiety, etc. And as I'm working through it, it's really a fascinating process, because it's kind of like meditation plus, because cognition is involved. I'm not just observing my thoughts. I am observing and growing in my ability to both experience my emotions freely, to manage them, and to continue to do the things that I want to do, to become a more capable and effective person. I hope you've enjoyed this. This is a bit of a twist on both traditional mindfulness instruction, and there are some schools of thought that teach using mindfulness for cognitive therapy and learning cognitive skills. So it's my own, I think the cool kids use the word mashup on the internet, but it is a new process that I am developing, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you use it. What I'm going to do is post the 8 steps underneath this and every other video in this series, so you can try it out for yourself. Thanks so much for watching. I love you. I appreciate you subscribing and watching and commenting. Your comments are both uplifting and instructional. I'm learning from people who say they want certain things, or like certain things, or wanted to see something be a little different. So I really appreciate it. Have a great day.